You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
Well, I have to apologize. Alex is not here this evening. He's still vomiting in the churches. They won't let him out. He's been eradicated. No, he is still on somewhat of a family sabbatical, whatever. He's tending to what he has to do, and he will be back soon. But this evening, I have here with myself Mr. Richard Palmisano. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. It's always good to have you here on the show. It's always a blast.
It's always nice to be asked.
Yeah. So what's new and exciting? What have you been up to?
Just plugging away. Just actually just signed a deal with Llewellyn Worldwide for a new book.
Yeah.
Partner and I joined forces and got another book together, and so we're still in the early stages. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I don't want to jinx the whole thing.
But that's the main thing. I mean, you finally have a deal in place. Well, finally have a deal in place. I mean, I know you've been looking for a while to get back and get a fresh new book out there.
It's been a
getting
struggle.
tough. It's getting tough.
Yeah, it's a struggle. It's everybody's changed formats since the pandemic, and a bunch of things have changed. So the paranormal, it's as big as it is, and as demand for it is huge. It's not a lot of publishers that are bothering right now.
Which is weird, you think, because of the demand. What do you think? Oh, and this kind of like we'll kind of tread lightly on this. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I mean, do you think that that's because you yourself and myself even and others aren't a part of that sort of para-celebrity, para-drama that is continuously swirling around? Do you think that's a main reason behind it? Do you think?
No,
You don't think so?
it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's I spoken like with the my publisher. I mean, I had a good relationship with that publisher. I did 5 books with them.
Mm-hmm.
But over the pandemic, and then the trouble between the down in the U.S., especially with the Democrats and the Republicans, and the riots, and George Floyd, and the rights movements, and so the publishers are now, you can see it in television as well, with Netflix and that. They're changing their formats. They're trying to they're doing inclusive shows, inclusive publishing.
Mm-hmm.
So to change the format heavily in those directions, well, somebody's got to lose out, right? So they're pushing the paranormal aside in that pursuit. So
I guess what I'm trying to get at, though, I mean, do you think that look at you we'll just say you were on a paranormal TV show. Okay. and you're this popular para-celebrity, if you will.
Sure.
And everything, there's a big meltdown, everyone goes their separate ways, and all of a sudden everyone starts jawing at each other, trying to get a piece of whatever they can, to the vesting the last little bits of whatever they can sort of salvage and take pokes at each other. Do you think that these publishers would pick up on this shit and say, look at a tell-all book? Oh, definitely.
Yeah, well, the publishing industry is, they're trying to keep TV land at arm's reach. Right? The two
Yeah.
should never meet.
No.
And I mean, do I enjoy this meltdown? I saw it coming. It's amusing. It's
It is.
entertaining as usual. But you have to remember these. They're all clawing at the side now. Oh, don't forget me. Don't.
Yeah.
But this is what happens. You work in tight little groups, little circles that are. I don't know. It's almost like they treat each other like royalty, right? The rest of us are peasants.
Exactly.
They know everything about everything, which they don't. So when something like this happens, they don't know where to turn. They've snubbed everybody because they hung out in their little circle. And now what do? They're just like, I don't know what to do now. So
they're lost without that circle.
they can't. They're entertainers. So are they going to go back to the paranormal? Well, if there's no money in it and no stardom, what's the point?
Well,
So,
I think they've been blackballed now too.
well, you see on social media all these people crying about it. Oh, they canceled my favorite show, and it's all about reality, right?
Yeah.
People that do work in the paranormal
Mm-hmm.
recognize the difference between paranormal research and entertainment. It's all
Exactly.
these ones that are crying about it right now that can't separate that reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always equate it to when you're a kid and you watched wrestling,
Yeah.
and and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is so real. This is so
Yeah.
awesome. And you pick sides. That guy's the good wrestler, that other guy's the bad wrestler, right? And you're so adamant that, oh, this is so real.
Yeah.
And it's like parents at a hockey game, and they get right into it. Cross check my son, get that guy off the ice. It's the same with these TV shows. Same shit.
It's a good analogy, but until you can, step back and say, okay, this is. I watch some of these shows because it's entertaining. Do I get upset with it?
Entertainment,
No, of course
exactly.
not. I don't get upset with it. It's entertaining. I don't expect them
Absolutely.
to know stuff or expect them to the guy gets possessed every episode. Hi, hey, you know what? Take some Advil, call me in the morning. But
Yeah.
like, do I care? No, it's entertainment. It's no
Richard,
different than me watching, back in the day. I watched Most Haunted.
yeah.
How many people got hit in the back of the head with a pebble that one of the guys?
Exactly.
Everybody knew. But did we care? No,
Yeah.
it's entertainment.
Exactly. Absolutely. What if ghost hunters came up and said, Richard, would you like to come on and guest star in an episode?
No. I've turned down. I don't know how many I've turned down.
Yeah.
I've got email after email. I actually sat down with some of them, talked about it, but I turned them down. I did a couple early in the 90s, I guess. I did a few there, but even they got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, the integrity's got to be worth more than this. So I started saying no. I can't do it anymore. When you sit there and tell them the story, then they interview you, and you give them the book. How do you get wrong? And they're still
Exactly.
getting wrong. So, and then
What-
you gotta
what do you-
justify it.
What do you think has changed since these? And we'll just go on this a little bit longer, and that's it. But what do you think has changed over the past, say, 20 years of these shows becoming popular and sort of running their courses and basically sucking the stone dry with every sort of variable they can with the paranormal?
Sure.
I mean, what do you think has changed? Has anything changed?
Huge change, yeah. Well, you can trace it back. I mean, if you go on social media and see when people started in this, field
Mhm.
doing paranormal research.
Mhm.
This came out of Zach Bagan's Ghost Adventures. He
Yep.
showed how easy it was and how cool it looked. He had, I'm not gonna lie, good looking guy in his 20s, whatever he is,
Mhm.
right? Uh, Running around in a dark building with all this cool tech, right? Oh, seeing the dark cameras and all this stuff. He made it cool. And if you go back and look at the majority of these people, when they started, that's when they started.
Yeah, but
2000,
come
between
on.
2004 2008 is when
Yeah.
they started.
But come on. Zach Bagans had a brick hit him.
At a what?
He had a brick hit him, didn't he? In the first Ghost Adventures, the first.
Oh no, I missed them. I missed them. They caught it in the
Yeah.
background, a board or
Oh yeah.
something
Okay.
flying around. I mean, yeah, okay.
You gotta love it.
Well, yeah, it's entertainment.
It is scripted, and people
Well,
don't
anything
realize
that's
it.
scripted. I mean, I
It's
watch
scripted.
uh, the Skinwalker Ranch, the mystery of the Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Great show. I love it. It's all scripted,
Yeah.
right? What's real? What's not real? I don't know.
Well, I had a producer contact me. Um, I forget what show it was again, but anyways, they wanted to know if I'd come in and sort of do a segment on a story,
Hmm.
and I said, yeah, sure. Just give me more details, whatever. Sure, and they wanted to run with the story, an investigation. No names, obviously,
Hmm.
and no locations were given, but they're like, okay, so let's ramp this up a little bit. Let's script this to the point where you are facing off against a demonic entity.
Jeez.
And right there, I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
Like, honestly, that's not what happened.
yeah.
It's got nothing to do with a demon or anything like that. Yeah, well, we know, but demons seem to be the thing these days, and people really, really buy into it." I said, "Okay, find somebody else. I'm not interested."
Well, and that's it. And they can, and when you see those contracts, and believe me, that's the first thing I say is send me a contract and you read it because I know I'm not going to be signing up for this, but I want to see the contract. I want to
Hmm.
see the verbiage, right? And it's non-disclosures. We can voice you over, right?
Yeah,
Well, we didn't like what he said,
yeah,
so we're going to voice you over and
yeah.
put all kinds of words in your mouth,
Hmm.
right? We're going to call you whatever we want to call you. So, and this is where people get the title paranormal expert,
Yeah.
right? I'm a paranormal investigator, but then as soon as the show hits, paranormal expert.
Expert. Yeah.
Wait a minute, who discussed that with me? But and it goes on and on and on and on, and you can't do anything about it. You have to if you want to take them to court over anything, it's somehow in the contract we've agreed to have this impartially done in court in Chechnya. So just fly there,
Yeah.
don't get killed, and do your court bidding there. I mean, crazy stuff. And you can see it now coming out with all these TV shows that are non-disclosures. You can't say this about this, or you can't say that about that. So it's TV land, man.
Mm,
Stay
I know.
away. It's not
I
worth.
know. I agree. I did agree to one show, but the only reason why I agreed to the show to do it was because it was a casting friend of mine asked me, would you want to come on and do this show? And I said, what show's that? It's a healthy gourmet show. And I'm like, okay, but what does that have to do with the paranormal? Oh, well, we want a paranormal group in. We're going to do a food intervention. We're going to script this so you're cooking for the guys before an investigation, and they never like the meal that you cook, and we're gonna come in and make your meal so much better, and you'll have a you know a great time investigating, because you won't be falling asleep because of all the carbs.
Well, there you go.
Right. But you know what, I said, what, this is actually, I like this. It's lighthearted, it's
Yeah,
comedic, and you know what, and
entertainment.
it was entertainment. I adamantly said, I'm not going to be faking anything on
Yeah,
this. They said, no, absolutely not. We don't want anything to do with that. We just want you to be there, and be the central character of the episode, and blah blah blah. I said, yeah, sounds good to me. I'll do it. Sounds good. It was fun, and
yeah,
not to mention we got to get in and and be a part of this great location at
yeah.
Niagara on the Lake. The
Nice.
Brockmore Inn.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, very nice place.
Yeah. See, that's
And
worthwhile, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that was on a totally different note. I mean, I wasn't looking to, you know, get famous off something like this, or, I mean, I'm thankful my evil burgers became famous more than I did.
Yeah. Uh,
you know,
yeah.
so I mean, it was all about having fun. The guys had fun, and that was the main
Well,
thing.
that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Have some fun, man, because that's what it's about.
Well, that's what it's
But,
fun.
but some of these people have some crazy stuff, man. Like, I don't. 20 years ago, maybe it was longer. 22 years ago,
Yeah.
a company asked me to in Toronto here. They said, "Come
Mhm.
on down. We want to pitch for a new show." I said, "Okay." So I drew some stuff up and went down and met the guy that asked me. So we were pitching a paranormal show, and then the big guy came into the room,
Mm-hmm.
joined the meeting, and really ignorant kind of guy, right? He said, "Oh, why don't you do something that's Canadian, all Canadian?" And I said, "Like what? We're open to suggestions." He said, "Why don't you just investigate all the haunted Tim Horton locations?"
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and then you know what he told me?
Uh,
He quashed the idea. He said, "Forget about it. No, we're not doing this because." And I almost fell off my chair. He said, "The paranormal is dead, dead. It's going to fall out of favor. Nobody's interested in this stuff." This was 20 years ago.
yeah.
I mean, we're producing 100 shows a month out there. People episodes, right, for different shows.
Mhm.
We're writing 350 paranormal books a year. It's dead, he said. Dead. So I wonder if he's still working.
Exactly.
Real foresight.
Exactly. I don't think it will ever die, because it's, well, look at it, it's the great unknown, and we're always curious as to we want to know what the paranormal is all about.
Well, it's the first biggest question ever,
Yeah.
right? Never mind, are we alone in the universe? That's the second biggest question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we go on after our death? That was the first question. Right?
Yeah.
That started a whole bunch of religious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody said, "Oh, I wonder if we're alone in the universe." But they get all the funding.
But they get all the funding.
They get all the
Exactly.
funding. Yeah. Hey, don't forget the first question.
But I mean, we could fuse the two together. I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts that perhaps maybe, ghosts, if you will, are not in fact, dead loved ones, but rather some sort of entity from another realm,
Yeah. Well,
another world.
surely the possibility exists. However, I would disagree.
Okay.
Simply because I've been in contact with deceased relatives, including my father,
Okay.
who said something on an EVP. I recognize the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Who said something in an EVP that made no sense to me. But when I played it to my mother, who broke down into tears,
Mm-hmm.
knew what the word meant, which was, I wouldn't know, but that was the nickname he had for her when they were first dating.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I would disagree that there's some kind of entity portraying relatives. No, they're there.
Yeah.
But we don't know the interactions between what's out there and what exists after death. There could be interactions. They could be tied in somehow. We just don't know. And as we move forward in research, you can see trends. There are demonic entities, but people don't want to accept that anymore because of Zach Bagans. Oh, yeah, you got a demon? No. Well, they are out there. So just because Zach sees one every week doesn't mean you should discount the fact that they do exist.
Yeah, but when you say even if they did, it's like extremely rare.
Extremely rare.
Yeah. Okay.
In 44 years, I've ran into two, and there are complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
One was hell bent on, no pun. One was hell bent on destroying myself, the family, and the team I was working with. And the other one couldn't care less if we were there or not. So
you can't do anything to me, so it doesn't matter if you're here or not.
Well, they had their own agenda.
Yeah.
I think if I were to find a way to interrupt that agenda, it might be a different story.
Yeah.
And then I'm asking for trouble. As long as I'm not a threat and I'm not interrupting what they're doing, why would they care?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
The other thing about extraterrestrials or interdimensional or whatever they are, we really don't know. There's a million shows on TV that'll tell you, oh, we're going to disclose, we're going to tell you everything about everything, we're going to answer this question. It's the final show you'll ever have to watch on this. They have no idea. I talk to these guys all the time, and they call themselves experts. They go, I'm a UFO guy, I'm an expert UAPs. We don't know. We have no idea. We have some evidence that suggests something's happening, but we don't know if they're from outer space. We don't know from another planet. We don't know if they're interdimensional. We don't know if they're demonic. We don't know if it's something else completely. We don't know if some of them are what I just mentioned and the other half are some secret covert government agency or a breakaway society or time travelers. We have no idea. We have no idea. Just because you were abducted doesn't mean it tells us anything. Any one of those things could have abducted you. So we don't know. Just because we see them flying around doesn't tell us anything either.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think? Do you think there will ever be disclosure? Do you think there'll be a time when there's actual disclosure?
That's a loaded question because
yeah,
there's a lot of nonsense coming out now where you can see certain people, especially within the United States government, who say they don't work for the government, are pushing agendas, right? Lou Elizondo, right, comes out of the blue, right, with the Stars Academy, and he's telling everybody that it's a major national security threat.
Yeah.
We should go to war with them right now, basically is what he's saying. And I've got so many problems with that. What kind of agenda are you pushing, Lou? Right? First of all, you shouldn't be talking about this. Second of all, you released a bunch of top secret UAP videos from the nuclear strike group, and you're not in jail.
Exactly.
How's that work?
Exactly.
Well, two of the radar guys got kicked out of the force, right? And discredited, done, gone, career's done, over with, because they talked about it. The timing wasn't right. The Lou stole this stuff off a nuclear strike group, put it on the TV. Oh, everything's cool. No problem, Lou. How many non-disclosures, being in charge of ATIP, being a counterintelligence guy for the military, works out of the Pentagon, how many non-disclosures did he have to sign in his career?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's walking around talking about this stuff. How? How?
Exactly.
And then you
How?
got Nick Pope, who was a clerk, used to answer the
Mhm.
phone. All of a sudden, he's an expert on UFOs.
Yeah. There's another one. There's another one.
Unbelievable. I mean, come on, man. You got to separate the nonsense from reality. And it's,
So, what would you out of everything that you've read, everything that you've seen, heard, what what seems to make the most sense to you? Like what person, and it could be a public speaker, it could be a writer, whatever, a radio personality, whatever. What makes the most sense to you in terms of what seems to be real, if you will, or at least seemingly more real than most?
there's only hints. There's only little
Mhm.
hints of the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, if you go to all these people like ancient aliens or all these self-proclaimed experts in UAP, or most of it's junk.
Hmm.
I call it filler. But if you really do your research, there's little tiny hints of truth. Now they might not know. They might say, "Well, okay, let's throw all this stuff in and see what floats to the surface." Um, but I haven't found anybody that's that knows what's happening.
Hmm.
I mean, as far as I can tell, I mean, I'm leaning one way, and I could be completely wrong. And
Hmm.
I probably shouldn't even discuss it because it's way, way, way out there.
Hmm.
But when you put all the stuff together, and I mean a lot of stuff together,
Yeah.
right? The fact that we can see that civilization has gone on this planet over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Um, yeah, so you believe that intelligent civilizations have recycled here
Oh,
on this planet?
not just the planet. Some of them evolved to the stars.
Oh, okay. So then could it be possible that whoever is, if they are visiting our planet, could be a representative from that, say,
Absolutely,
ancient? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Interesting. Interesting.
Wherever we came from, where they could be coming from there. Or a breakaway society that died out 25,000 years ago. There's remnants of them out there, and they're just not sure how to deal with us because let's face it, we're scary people. We're nuts, right? All we want to do is blow stuff up, take it over, and sell it off for a profit. That's it.
Hmm.
There's nothing
Hmm.
more. Well, and pay taxes, but there is nothing more, right? We have the military industrial complex just constantly grinding away, right? Every
Yeah.
time it's convenient, we just send a bunch of people to die in war for no reason at all. I don't know what Russia's doing right now in the Ukraine. I don't even know what the Ukraine's doing. It's not a war unless you go fight the enemy. And I mean,
Hmm.
when I mean fight the enemy,
Hmm.
incursions into their country and destroy things. That's what a war is. You don't hide behind lines and try to. You can't defend yourself. How do you win a war in defense?
Hmm.
I don't understand it. But we keep
No.
throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at it. But
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand. But
Yeah. I
there's
know that's.
there's information that shows that uh, places in India they've come across, out in Scotland they've come across, out in Africa they've come across. It showed that there was nuclear explosions on this planet in our distant past.
Hmm.
We're looking back
Yep.
5, 6,000, 8,000 years ago. We're looking at artifacts on the planet or monuments on the planet that go back 10,500, 11,000 years ago. Uh,
So let's just be honest. It wasn't a fucking asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. It was a nuclear bomb.
Oh, we have no idea. Well,
I know we don't have an idea. That's the thing.
no.
But
Well,
they're
the problem
adamant. They're
is,
adamant it was a fucking asteroid.
yeah, but they're not going to tell you. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I
there
know
were
that.
giants on this planet,
Hmm.
and we can prove it. There's old newspaper reports. There's all kinds of stuff, and it seems the Smithsonian, for some reason, had the authority to wander the planet and either steal them, abscond them, or buy them and put them into storage, never to be seen again. So what are they hiding? What are they afraid of? Well, who cares if there was a giant person on some place in Italy? Like, do I care? No.
So are you saying they're as bad as the Vatican?
Well, maybe the Vatican owns, maybe they make contributions to the Smithsonian. I don't know. Like, follow the money, but I mean, who's got time to do all this stuff,
I know.
right?
So much, so many things, wonderful things to document and yeah, hide.
There's a lot of
That's a
mystery.
weird.
I mean, look at Vandenberg
Mhm.
pointed out. He asked the question, who nuked Mars? In the distant past, there was at least, that he knows of, 2 nuclear weapons detonated on Mars. Now, when you put
Wow.
that together with the artifacts that we can see, but NASA says don't exist, I mean, this is what I mean. We
Well,
did
like what? Like what? What kind of artifacts are you talking
well,
about?
they're showing structures there that look like
Okay.
pyramids. It looked like a face. It looked
Hmm.
like small buildings.
But I mean,
Um,
who was it? Was it Carl Sagan? Who was it that brought the whole face on Mars bit to light? Who was it that
well, that was Richard
Ha-
Hoagland or
Hoagland,
something.
Richard Hoagland?
Hoagland, yeah. Yeah,
Hoagland.
so
I
he
don't.
did the
I
Enterprise
don't.
project.
Yeah, I don't think he was the first guy to bring it to light, though. I thought
Well,
it
NASA,
wasn't as.
yeah, I'm not sure if he was or not. I know NASA photographed it, and the funny thing with NASA is they will find stuff, and then the next mission is like as far away as you can possibly get. What I'm not confirming or denying anything. I'm not going to go look at this thing that's really weird. No, we're going to go, 200 miles that way, and we're going to look at some dusty rocks. Like, how do you explore the? I would want to know, unless I already know and I'm not telling you. I would want to know. I want to send another mission to go even look deeper into what's happening. Right? But no, they don't do that. They just no. It's
I saw a strange thing today. I was out for a hike in Bronte Provincial Park there
oh yeah.
today, and this evening, and I saw some debris or something falling from the sky, and you could clearly see it, right? Big sort of plume of white smoke just falling, right? And then not too far above it were 2 military planes, stratosphere planes, whatever you want to call them, right up there. And these guys were huge. I got it on video, and
Yeah.
I gotta edit it and bring it up and show it. But it was just fucking odd, just
Yeah.
really odd. Like
There's a lot of
here's
stuff.
yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff
There's a
going on.
lot of stuff happening that we don't know,
We're
and of
not
course,
privy
we're
to.
never. You're gonna ask because I was looking for I'm looking at the plane radar. It tells you what planes are in the sky, and of course, oh yeah, look, that plane's right there. Yeah, okay. What
Yeah.
about those 2 way up there? They're
Yeah.
undocumented. What's going on?
Yeah, they shut their ping off, and that's it.
Well, we're not allowed to see that stuff.
Well, if they shot something down, I can tell you right now, it's not ours. Because our intellectual prime minister went on the news when they were shooting the Chinese balloon down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went on the news and he disclosed to the entire world, enemies included,
Yeah.
it wasn't us. We couldn't shoot stuff down in the sky because we don't have the missiles yet.
Yeah.
So he's telling everybody we can't defend our own skies. We had to go and get NATO to do it. So whatever those planes
Yeah.
were that shot, whatever it is down, you saw, it's not ours. It's got
It
to be
was pretty.
American.
It was pretty. I don't know if it was shot down though.
Yeah.
To me, the way it was falling, it looked like it looked like maybe burnt up asteroid or space debris or something. The way it was coming down, the
Right.
way it looked,
Mhm.
right? So I don't know. It just seemed kind of odd that those two planes were, you know, flying by above.
Right.
And they're rather large planes for being way up there. They're rather large,
Hmm.
huge,
Right.
huge.
Well, that's your mystery to solve, buddy. You're gonna find out where the wreckage came down. We'll see.
Yeah, that's another question. Is that going to be made available? No. We'll just we'll have to wait till somebody comes forward. I had some shit fall in my backyard last night. You know, fucking dropped on my dog and killed it.
Yep. Yep.
You
That's
know.
yeah. I hate that.
uh,
I hate when that happens.
I know, eh? Um, I hate that. But yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of weird shit going on. A lot of shit going on. And it's you sit there and it's funny because we've kind of touched upon a few things, and that's the really weird thing. But they all seem to have a certain tie to them, and that tie is that a lot of it's unknown. We really don't know
Yeah.
a lot about the phenomena.
Right.
And those who say they're experts are the furthest thing from being experts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's people know, like, certain people know certain things. They don't know
Yeah.
all of it. You can't know all of it. It's impossible. And anybody that says they do, they're lying to you.
Well,
Right?
yeah. Mhm.
But um, there are things that I know from doing this so long that a spirit. It's almost like watching living people, right? They have habits. They will do certain inherent things
Mhm.
that you can pick up on and understand. And when you go to another place, if it's haunted, they're probably going to do that, so you can prepare for it. But you're always going to have questions. Doesn't matter how much you know,
Mhm.
right? So the more you learn, the more questions you're going to have. That's the process. It's always going to work that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, okay. So getting back to the ghost sort of aspect of things. What what? Okay. So what would you say? What would you say is the most accurate way of explaining what maybe with obviously through your research and your investigations and whatnot, what are ghosts? What are they?
My opinion, these are the remnants of an individual after death. So that would include the emotions, the memories. Uh, Sometimes it's anger. Sometimes it's a combination of anger, humor. Um, that's my opinion. This is you can call it the soul or the essence of that individual. Right? They're going to be what they are. My dad even said, "Hey, you know what? If you're a bad person in life, you'll be the same in death. Right? When you pass over, you're still going to be a bad person." I think a lot of these TV land people think these that means demonic. It doesn't. It just means that they like to play
But
games.
I mean, let's be honest though too. I would, demonic to most would be something brought forth by organized religion, if you will,
Yeah.
and therefore it is an evil sort of aspect where in other sort of cultures that they have these so-called demons, but they're obviously called something else or
Yeah,
whatever
sure.
else,
Sure.
evil spirits or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, you know, to those who don't have a religion or not or aren't religious, I mean, then these demons, I guess, really don't mean a lot. They don't really exist, do they?
Well, just because you don't understand them or believe in them doesn't mean they don't exist. I'll give you a
No,
good.
I get it, but
Oh,
to their frame of mind, their frame of thinking,
right. Right.
to them, demons. Oh well, that's just a
Sure.
religious
So
sort of
it's like
thing.
the skeptic doesn't believe in cryptids. But until you
Yeah,
run into one in the forest,
yeah.
what happens? I'll give you the best example. The first time I ever ran into a demonic entity
Hmm.
was on a. I was invited out by another team.
Hmm.
Come and have a look. Want some fresh eyes on this haunting.
Yeah.
And I went, and I looked like a typical haunting. Had to involved a large property, an old house, and a
Hmm.
family. Looked like a typical haunting.
Yeah.
Until the second time I went, and that's when everything hit the fan.
Hmm.
And that's when I knew we were dealing with demonic entity. And there was no question about it. Now, one of the other team members, uh, she was Wicca, and she didn't believe in demonic. She
Yeah.
nonsense. It's not. There's no such thing. She came face to face with this thing, and she went cuckoo because she couldn't process it. It doesn't exist, but yet it's here. What do I do with that? Well, how do I process that information?
Exactly.
And while I'm trying to process that, how do I survive this? So it didn't go well for her.
Hmm.
As an investigator, I cannot turn my back on anything. I have to understand it could be. The possibility exists,
Yeah.
right? They say cryptids are out there. I'm not going to say nonsense. I have to understand and I have to process it and I have to prepare that they do exist. I can't study something that I dismiss. I can't study life after death if I dismiss everything in the religious texts. And I'm not talking Catholicism, I'm talking all religions,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And this is what the trend today is. The paranormal has nothing to do with anything in religion. The paranormal has nothing to do with demonic entities.
Hmm.
Once you start dismissing all this, what are you researching? And how can you be objective? How can you come to terms with something if you're going to dismiss 40% of what could be affecting it or interplaying?
I, I, I got a question here, and I know what I would say, but I want to hear what you'd say. So here's the question: what would you class what's stuck in the Annabelle doll that the Warrens have?
Well, I had one of those dolls too. Actually,
Yeah.
my deceased cousin had one.
Yeah.
So, what is stuck in it? Is that the question?
Yeah. What class? What would you class what's stuck in the Annabelle doll? So I mean, what would you say is
Well,
haunting the doll, if you will, or
well, okay. So that's a loaded question. So first of all, we don't know if the Annabelle doll is actual. If there's anything in uh, within that doll, right? Because I don't know. I haven't seen it, and they haven't come up with any evidence for it.
yeah.
But there could be a couple possibilities if it's true. One could be an attachment. It could be just somebody loved and cherished that doll, and now they were attached to it, and in their
Mm-hmm.
death, they have this attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be a demonic entity that looks for a vessel that they can use to manipulate and cause problems for the living. that's a far stretch, simply because demonics they want results.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to sitting around in a glass booth for decades collecting dust. They want results. They want to, they want to cause the problems that they want to cause.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. The problem I have with haunted objects is something I guess the people seem to miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
If these are haunted, well, guess what I'm going to do with this? It's going to be under audio, video surveillance 24/7. I'm going to have it hooked up to all kinds of sensors, monitors.
If yours are haunted, so are mine.
Right.
And let me tell you something. They are haunted because you see different when you put them on.
They live.
No, they live.
You understand? Yeah. If I had a haunted object,
yeah, mm-hmm.
It would be monitored and scrutinized 24/7, and I would whatever's haunting this attached to this object can't even breathe, can't move, can't hiccup, can't do anything without me knowing. And that's all I want, is that evidence, that tangible proof that there's something attached to it. And yet nobody, I got 1 million haunted objects in my basement, says, okay, where's the evidence?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's this? Just put some audio video surveillance on it. Did it move? Was there a noise? Was there a shadow? Was there anything? Oh, no, I don't have to prove anything to you. Just pay your $12 and come in and look around. I've got, like, Zaphis, right? There's a lot of these guys. I've got some of the most horrific haunted objects in the world, all combined in 150 square feet. And it's completely safe to go down there and look around. Come on. Seriously? Seriously. If it was that bad, if one of them was that bad, what are 700 of them like? When you combine all those, you think maybe some of them know each other? Maybe they think,
they're colluding.
Hey, here comes a paying customer.
There's collusion going on.
No, come on.
They're collusion. They're colluding to overthrow.
Hey, you know what? I found the source of all your problems. It's that 30 that 5 carat diamond ring there. I'll just take that off your hands and your problems will be okay.
Exactly. But it's haunted.
It is.
It's haunted. I'm telling you right now, it's haunted. And you're cursed if you put it on your finger.
Yeah, I'll just take that. Don't worry.
But I mean, okay, so and there's a question there. I mean, intent. Right? Intent. Like, I mean, okay, that ring is haunted. And if you put it on, you're going to be cursed. You'll be cursed. So automatically the person is going to, no matter how much they're going to say, whatever, it's going to be in the back of their mind.
Sure.
Playing games with them.
Yeah.
So
you're going to blame them for everything.
They might think differently about putting that ring on. And then they might go, well, screw that shit. I'm putting it up. Yeah. And then something bad happens. And automatically they take the ring off and said, oh, fuck, man. Yeah, they were right. It's cursed.
Yeah. Well,
it's like when I was when we were investigating the Grand Theater in London, Ontario there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Ambrose Small.
Yeah, you always heard about the curse of the Ambrose Small, right?
Sure.
And we left the theater after the investigation, driving home, and then we get into a major car accident. And the first thing that runs through your mind is like, damn, the curse of Ambrose Small,
Yeah.
But was it? No, probably not. It was. It was a fucking. I don't want to say coincidence, but
yeah.
I don't know how much I believe in that shit either. But it happened. It was an event that happened, and Do you blame it on the curse? Do you blame it on Ambrose Small? Most people would,
Yeah.
because
Sure.
because they want to add more lore to the investigation,
Of course.
to their experience, to
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Yeah. Sure.
And do you think that is an ongoing problem? Like, I mean, do you think? Because I mean, it happens all the time. You hear it all the time
Yep.
that people have these unusual things that happen in and around after or just before an investigation or whatever else, and they automatically assume it's attached to the location or a person in that location
Well,
that is apparently haunting it.
yeah. People jump to conclusions all the time, or they
Yeah.
assume stuff, or I'll admit it. I've done that. Although I was right, or I think I was right. When I was working a case, multiple haunting. Used to be an old church, and it was weird. We got there one night, and the whole thing changed. It was weird. It was like something had gone on. And when we were outside walking around and having a smoke, it was late. And, we noticed the lamppost across the road had some damage to it, so we went over, and there was car parts everywhere. And I thought, wow, it was a recent car accident right here.
Yeah.
Right across the road from the house. So the medium said, whoever that was came here looking for help. Not a living person.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody died, came here looking for help. And that was the change. Whether they were still there or not, I don't know. But had the medium not been there, I probably would have jumped to that conclusion. I would have assumed. I would have been wrong to assume.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we have to be careful of this stuff. We have to be conscious of it, because we're trying to solve a mystery. And if we jump to conclusions, well, we're all over the place, and we don't know where the hell we're going.
Melissa wants me to tell you about my haunted box. And I will do. Hold on, we're
all right. I'm in. What do you got?
We're gonna take a station identification break here, but when we come back, I will show you my little my haunted box there, and tell you a story behind it and more, and get your thoughts on it, Richard.
Okay,
we're gonna get your thoughts on it. So guys, don't go anywhere. For those of you listening on New Visions Radio Network, we're going to take a break here. For you guys on YouTube, be patient. We'll be right back. We have to do a station identification on New Visions Radio, on the New Visions Radio Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more with Richard Palmisano. And let me just see, where are we? And I can never find it. Here we go. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, live on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, simulcasting on our YouTube channel, Twitch, and whatever else is pirating our feed, which is probably nobody, but oh well. I'm just kidding. Anyhow, Melissa, she wants me to show you the box. The box.
The box, the mysterious box.
It's an old army box.
Okay.
Okay, and here you look down there. Down there, you see him down there? That black box with the gargoyle on top.
Okay.
So anyways, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you one of the stories anyways. I have some movies inside the box, like DVDs, right?
Okay.
That I put in there. And one morning one evening actually, I came up into the studio here, and the movies that were inside the box were piled nice and neatly on top of my computer desk here. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember doing that. And the box was wide open. And I'm like, okay, I never did that. So I asked my wife, I said, did you put those there? She's like, no, I have no idea. I didn't touch those. I didn't even know where are they from. She didn't know I had movies in there.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that is weird. But I mean, it just one of the many things that have happened in this house.
Right.
You know. Now, do I want to investigate my own house?
No.
Yeah, it's never a wise move, is it?
No. No. You know, they say you don't shit where you eat, right? So
Yeah.
It's a rule, hard and fast rule I follow. Have I had stuff happen in my house? Absolutely. Do I have something here now? Yeah. The problem is it's a love-hate relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As soon as you provide that attention, they're going to want more.
Yeah.
How do they get more? More activity.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just going to escalate out of control. And then you're going to have to do something about it. And I am really against moving on spirits. It's not me. I don't do that sort of thing unless it's absolutely
necessary.
Yeah, it's got to be a rescue where somebody's in danger somewhere or something. But yeah,
I mean, it's been subtle stuff that's happened here, at least while I've been home. Well, in the presence of being here. I mean, I had an old Pelican lapel LED light that you had to pry it open for the lights to go on.
Right.
And I remember the thing wasn't working for years. And then we had gone out. We came home and we're coming upstairs, and I noticed there was a light illuminating in this room, and I'm like, what the hell? Come in here, and sure as shit, it's sitting on the table here, opened, and the lights are on. And I'm sitting there going, standing there, I wasn't sitting, standing there going, okay, that thing has not worked in years.
Yeah.
Okay, who the hell? Nobody's been home. We're not home. There's nobody here. So I closed it up, opened it up again, and the lights didn't come on. Okay, whatever. How do you explain that?
It sounds like whatever's in your house is just curious. I think you have some cool stuff, and they're just curious. I think they're looking around and looking at stuff and sort of enticing you to maybe look into it.
You don't think I brought something home with me?
It's possible, yeah, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
sound
know.
like it's bad. It doesn't sound
No.
like it's going to get you.
Well, it was
Sounds good.
bad for the neighbors one night. I remember we were away for about a week, and we just got home, and we're unpacking the car, and walking in the front door, and as soon as I walked in the front door, my neighbor scooted over and asked, "Are you guys just getting home?" And I said, "Yeah." You weren't home last night?
Yeah.
No, no. Why? Because your music was blasting
Wow.
right through the wall. It was so loud, so loud. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, it was so loud. It was piercing the walls. And my husband came over, uh, knocked on your door, and there was no lights on in the house, but you can hear the music blasting.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's impossible. I have everything unplugged. Like I always unplug. If I'm gone for a week or more,
Yeah, sure.
I unplug everything
Yeah,
just in case there's like
yeah,
a power outage or whatever, right?
yeah, yeah.
I unplug it. So I go to my wife. I go, did the kids come over and check on the house? Throw the garbage out or whatever. Maybe forgot to turn the stereo off or whatever. But it would have been going. It would have been ongoing for a few days if that was the case.
Yeah. What was the music? Did they say?
No, I didn't ask.
Oh,
But
see, it would have been that. Find out what era the music was. That would have been interesting.
yeah, exactly.
But it's very
I
possible
should ask them that. That's a good question. I should ask them.
because it sounds like there's someone in your house. It's probably reminiscing, right?
Reminisce.
Stereo might not even been working. It could have been just a memory that they were having that was manifesting,
Yeah.
and the neighbors are detecting it.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you can find the era or find the genre of that music, it'd be that would be a hint of what you're dealing with, right? It'll give you some age group of what might be there.
Hmm.
So I mean, you gotta look at all the little clues, and it's just, you got a big puzzle. Unfortunately, all the puzzle pieces are invisible. So
There you go, Steve. Our TV shut off by itself today. You have to push a button for that. No one has access to our controls.
so it's almost like they're trying to entice you
Yeah.
to some type of communication. That would be my guess.
Should I
First,
should I say entice them back?
well, you got to be careful, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't say I don't I don't have a hard rule for me and not for my clients. I tell the clients the same thing.
Hmm.
You're asking me to investigate. This is what may occur. It could escalate. It could get very active. Is that something you want to continue to pursue? Because
Mm.
honestly, when you start investigating, it's going to start.
Yeah, like I said, it's just subtle little things. Like, I mean, our bedroom door we always close at night,
Yeah,
and it's just something we got used to because the cat would want to stay in our room, and we felt that it felt safe being in the room. But now that we don't have the cat anymore, it's still like it's habit. But there's been a couple nights we've woken up and the door is wide open.
mm,
So the door's been open, and you're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. I don't like
that
that.
either means somebody broke into our house,
Yeah.
and but it makes you wonder.
Well, I don't see that stuff. I start to get a little pissed off about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, I don't care what you do. If you want to have
Mhm.
some fun, you want to rummage around, you want to play some music, but don't do that stuff because now
Mhm.
you're impeding on my personal space,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I'm going to look at you as an intruder instead of just a house guest.
But that's what it felt like. It felt like that. It felt like, okay, did somebody come into our house?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you don't fucking know.
No.
I mean, the only way I'd know is if I had a camera trained on that door.
Yeah. Well,
And,
that might
and
stop the door from opening and closing because they hate cameras.
Yeah.
They know it's there. They can pick up
But
that energy.
what's even worse though, if that's not, it's not a ghost or whatever else, but it's an actual person that's somehow getting into the house.
Well,
See,
call me later and I'll tell you some security secrets, because that was my day job, right?
yeah,
So I can teach you how to protect your house yourself.
okay, yeah,
Uh, I think if somebody was getting in your house, there'd be signs to
yeah.
get in.
Well, that's what I figure, right? I mean, there's no apps, there's no signs, but I mean, there's just weird. Like I said, these are weird, subtle things that are happening.
I mean, you
So
could have a little conversation, but put it on an even playing field. Have an EVP recorder, digital recorder, set it up, turn the volume up, and then say, "Listen, I know you're here. I don't mind coexisting, but
mhm,
you have to respect my privacy, and you have to
mhm.
respect my space and my wife's space." And then leave it at that. See if there's anything come up on the EVP, and then monitor from there. If it escalates, then you got to escalate it. Once you start down the path,
Yeah. I
real,
have to show you some of this. I
real
have to show.
people are scarier than go. Well, yeah. Well,
Like, and he's saying, Frank's saying, like, finding that guy in the crawl space under the house. Here, look. Let me see. I'm going to show this to you. Let me see. Oh God, where can I find it?
I mean, when I go to a haunted location, that's the first thing I do is clear the house,
Yeah.
right? Because
Hmm.
people are crazier than ghosts, so I clear the house to make sure there's no threat.
Yeah.
That
There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
But my team maintains security when we're on a location, right? We have a buddy system. We have, we have that mindset, right? Security first, safety first, and then the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that applies to my house.
I gotta. I don't know. I gotta find that video. Hold on.
But first thing you do is don't have a crawl space.
Yeah. It's a good thing we don't have a crawl space. I'll tell you.
Count your windows.
After watching this video, hold on, I'm loaded up here.
Walk around your house and count all your windows,
Yeah.
right? Because if there's, 18 windows inside and 19 windows outside, you're missing a room somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, huh?
Start measuring the hallways from end to end and find out, where that room might be.
If somebody can find me the link to the crawl space video again, or post it in the chat, I'll play it again for. I'm looking for it here. I'm on his channel, but I can't seem to find it. I do not know where it is. It's here somewhere, and I've gone by it. And I played it the other night, but
I think I've seen it though. I think I've seen it with the crawl space.
What is it? What do you think it is?
Well, wasn't there someone living in the guy's in the lady's house or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, nobody
Well, there's
living
been
in
a
the
few.
house.
There's been a few, I think.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell is it?
Living between the walls and living in the crawl space and living in the attic. That's what they think happened at the Liska, right? The guy was in the attic.
Yeah.
So.
Guy was in the attic. And that's I can't find it. Somebody wants to post it, then fine. Post it. I can't find it. It's there somewhere. But I'm not going to spend all night looking for it. But yeah, it's hey, Iowaks. Yeah, it's a very disturbing video, man. It's just really, really disturbing, and it makes you wonder.
Well,
But go ahead.
it comes down to knowing your house, right? Like I
Yeah.
love architecture. My house is 130-year-old Victorian, right? So you should know your house inside and out. what's in the walls, what's in the
Well,
floor, what's in the attic, what's in, you should know every inch.
yeah.
You
I
should
mean, I
know.
like to think. I mean, I haven't been up to the attic as often as I should be.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Melissa's posted it, so let me just pull it up here. Okay. Just let the okay, so I'm just gonna go right to the okay, go to the part. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me just share screen. Go here. And let's open her up. And here you go. This guy's hearing sounds coming from this crawl space. So
As he enters his crawl space, he stops recording for a second so that he can take another video with the flash on so that he could navigate the crawl space. The crawl space appears to be mostly empty, aside from some boxes that were tucked into one corner. Jake says when he saw these boxes this way, he was confused because he didn't remember leaving them that way.
look at all the orbs, Richard.
Yeah.
As Jake walks deeper into the crawl space where the left side expands further down, Jake says he heard a noise in one corner, like pebbles being scraped on the concrete floor. As he heard the noise, he turned to the corner where he saw the terrifying sight of a hunched over man dressed in all black, who was hiding in the corner behind a wall, now getting up and approaching Jake. Jake's scream sounded like a legitimate scream from somebody witnessing something as disturbing as an intruder hiding in their crawl space and then basically lunging at them. The video cuts out seconds later, as being that it was a Snapchat video. Once he let go of the record button, the video stopped. At this point, Jake explained that he ran back to the ladder of the crawl space, and as he climbed up, the man grabbed his foot and tried to pull him down. But Jake managed to kick his way out of the grip and slam the crawl space door in his face. Unfortunately, the door to the closet, which contained the crawl space door, didn't have a lock, so Jake's first instinct was to run to the kitchen and grab the biggest knife, then lock himself inside the bathroom. He heard the closet door open, and then footsteps come over to the bathroom door, and then the man on the other side of the door try the doorknob. Not knowing what kind of weapons the person might have had, Jake didn't engage the intruder in a fight. Instead, he silently called 911 and kept the line going, and eventually, he heard footsteps quickly leave the house out the front door. Now Jake told the 911 operator about the break-in, and so police came to the house, conducted a quick investigation, and a police report was created for the incident. Jake's girlfriend refused to come to the house after hearing of the incident, because she swore left and right that the man had to be her ex. It's impossible to make out any notable facial features on the man in the video. Jake says he saw that the man was wearing a black mask and his head was covered by a hood, which you can kind of see in the video. Jake also described the man to have a very tall-looking, intimidating stature, despite his hunched-over posture in the crawl space. Jake's girlfriend's ex was a very tall man, and upon watching the video, she swears it looks just like his body. Of course, this is just speculation on her part. And without solid evidence, legally they don't have much of a leg to stand on as far as pressing charges.
So what do you think of that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be freaky though?
Well, of course it's freaky. I mean,
Yeah.
sure. How do you get in? Like,
Yeah.
is it a fake? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
exactly. Is it
a lot
fake?
of deep fakes out there,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not going to say it's fake. Whatever. Some guy get into the house. Why would her ex come into the house?
Maybe got into the house when they weren't home and snuck down into the basement.
Well, what's the point? Like, I don't understand.
I
If I'm
know.
going to break into a house and breaking in for a particular reason,
Mhm.
I don't want to hide in a crawl space where I have to worry about where I'm getting water and food and bathrooms, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going to break into a house to do what I need to do and then get out.
Hmm.
Whether it's stealing something, killing someone, having some cereal, whatever. But there's got to be some point to it.
Maybe he was in the middle of doing something and the guy came home and startled him, and so he went down into the crawl space. Maybe.
Anything's possible, sure.
Yeah,
But, you know,
yeah.
there's probably better places to hide because you're thinking, okay, I'm going to hide, but I also want to escape. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of work. I mean, you saw the camera. There's a lot of work to getting into that crawl space. You got to open a door, then you got to open a hatch, then you got to get down a ladder, then you got to close that hatch quietly.
Hmm.
There's a lot of work, right? I could just duck into a hallway closet behind some coats, and hopefully they go use the bathroom when I'm out of there. But I don't know.
Yeah. It's yeah.
See, the whole, like, what was the whole reason of him going down there anyways?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And that's something we won't.
I'm going
know.
to take my camera and I'm going to go down to this crawl space in my house. And there happens to be a guy hiding there.
No, he was hearing noises. Like he was in. I didn't play the whole video. He was upstairs in his kitchen and he was hearing some banging coming from underneath in the crawl space. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
You know, okay. And then it kept going, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna take a look at this," and that's when he went down there and he took a look at it and investigated to see what was going on down there. And
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd have, as an investigator or even as a criminal, I'm going to put the paranormal aside. As a criminal investigator, here's a guy that was in your house. Obviously, from the camera work you saw, he has no gloves. You couldn't do a facial recognition program on him because
Mhm.
obviously you can't see the face. But were their fingerprints taken? What was the results of those fingerprints? What's the relationship between the girlfriend and her ex? Were they involved in criminal activity? Was he looking for something? Did she have something of value that he wanted? There's a lot of unanswered questions. So,
Melissa in chat also brings up another key point. He was disturbing the floorboards underneath too. He was tearing the floorboards. He was tearing away at the floorboards and the piping, some of the ducting and shit like that, which was kind of weird. Like he was trying to get up there, I guess. I don't know. Weird.
I mean, strange things happen, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen some really.
I know.
I'm not talking paranormal. I'm just talking real life strange stuff.
Yeah.
I arrested a guy one time. He stole half a side of beef off a truck from a loading dock, and
Yeah.
he was dragged it down a back hallway.
Hmm.
And when I found him, he was eating it, chunks of it, raw,
Raw.
yeah,
Oof.
like an animal, blood everywhere. And I'm like, and the scary thing was, he was a superintendent for a high-rise apartment building. He had the keys to everybody's apartment, like Looney Tunes. So strange things happen. I mean, people are, there's a big spectrum out there.
Mark says he heard bangs in the middle of the night downstairs. I live on my own. My mom passed away in a chair down there. She passed away 5 years ago. So is it residual? Maybe trying to make some sort of contact. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, if you, I mean, you honestly believe that your mother, there would be no reason to be afraid of your mother. I don't think. So there's no harm in opening a dialogue, and
Mhm.
you don't need to get into a lot of things, but if you're comfortable with that sort of thing.
And I mean, yeah, if you're able to capture something like a key word or something that
Yeah,
you and her would only know, or
yeah,
she would only said to certain people, then yeah, then you know for sure that yeah,
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
exactly like you were saying that you had captured, Richard,
yeah.
right?
And I knew my dad was there. He was, he had his favorite chair, and he would make it, that getting off the chair, and I heard that noise, and the chair moved just
Mm.
slightly, as if somebody got out of it. And so I knew. But then when I got that EVP, was I mean, that was one of the greatest moments in
Hmm.
all the years I've been doing this, because it
Yeah.
was personal and it was phenomenal, because I didn't know what it meant. I had to go and find out what that was. And it's
Yeah,
miraculous.
Frank brings up, remember those explorers deep in a cave tunnel in France? They found that young girl. Yeah, I remember that case. I don't know. I don't know if you remember that, Richard. They found that young
I
girl
don't
who'd
recall.
been lost down there for a long time, and just a strange case too. Yeah, weird stuff. That yeah. I mean, we as humans, many of us love to be scared. Do we not?
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know,
We love to be scared, and we love, and that's part of the human condition, right? When you
yeah.
feel most alive is when something scary happens,
Hmm.
right? Every sense is
Heightened.
100%,
Hmm.
right? And you move into that fight or flight mode. So yeah,
I think that's in many cases that is something too that I find a lot of people who enter the paranormal ring, they look for that, a thrill, if you will.
the thrill, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
thrill. Yeah, I think for the majority, it's especially for guys. I think the majority of them out there are just so they can go to a party and look at the girl and go, "I'm a paranormal investigator. Look how cool I am. Want to see my night shot?"
My night shot. Want to see my night shot?
Just
I've
speculating. I don't know.
I've got a parabolic mic.
That mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I've got three. I got three digital recorders.
All right. Wow. All right. Sure. Show off.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well, what would you say is your favorite piece of equipment that you like using, that you find yourself using quite a bit?
Um, well, besides the brain,
Hmm.
uh, well, my workhorse is basically systems I built myself from pieces,
Yeah.
and that's the audio video surveillance system.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah.
standalone systems. They're higher quality than a camcorder or DVD, and I can drop them places wherever I need them.
Hmm.
Um, I can swap out the cameras to what I need it, whether it's standard or dual CCD TV, right, or night uh, infrared stuff.
Hmm.
So that's my workhorse. That's probably the best uh, to go to, because it's going to give me everything. If there's any shadow movements or anything's wandering around or any activity like that, or if there's any audio, because I used
Yeah.
right because I had all the microphones modified down to 10 hertz.
Hmm.
So I'm picking up stuff that we normally won't hear. So that's the workhorse. I try and keep. I think I've got 4 or 5 of them, and I like to saturate an area with those things.
Do you prefer? And I think I asked you this before, but we'll ask you again. Do you prefer physical medium or digital?
For what?
Do you prefer using digital medium or physical, like tapes?
Oh, analog stuff. Yeah. So
Analog, yeah.
yeah, I would prefer analog,
Yeah. So
but
expensive though.
with the advance of technology, I still have some VCRs. I still
Hmm.
have some cassette tape. The mini cassette tape recording equipment.
Yeah.
I prefer it.
Hmm.
The problem is with the advancement of technology, when the stuff breaks down, it's hard to acquire. Um, I've had analog and digital recorders sitting next to each other,
Yeah.
and the analog has data,
Hmm.
and the digital's
Yep.
picked up nothing.
Wow.
So I find that magnetic tape, or some whatever for whatever reason, it seems to detect activity a lot better than digital. Digital, I think it discriminates. I think digital discriminates on certain things. It's just, I don't know what that was. It's just noise. Well, it was a voice,
Well,
but it just discriminated, right?
yeah, and the same could be said for, say, like a film camera and a digital point shoot camera,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, a film camera
Yeah,
is going to take a shot of what it actually sees,
that's right.
where as a digital point and shoot will the processes will fill in the blanks.
Yeah, it'll fill in and it makes an interpretation. Right?
Yeah,
And the worst thing are camera phones because you're not getting a
yeah,
true sense of what that. I mean, oh my God, there was a beautiful scene last night. The sun was going down. It was
hmm,
all purples and reds. And my wife's trying to get a picture on her camera phone, and it's awful
hmm,
because it's not seeing what's there. It's
yeah,
making an interpretation, right? Where if I grab my 35 mil camera with actual Kodak film and went out there, I would get
hmm,
every detail,
yeah, exactly,
every single color.
exactly.
So,
And I mean it's important because I mean again you never know if something has been manipulated. You
well,
know,
we're getting to the point now where how do you prove anything?
well,
It can be
yeah, with
manipulated. It
the
can be
technology
changed.
is now.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's hard enough. I see all these people talking about evidence and oh, you had to modify this or you had to enhance that or you had like just show me the evidence, right? Like you first of all, you don't know anything about evidence when you say stuff like that. You have to remember we're dealing with things that are shadowy,
Hmm.
right? A buddy of mine told me one time, he says, try to enhance some of the photos we have. It's like trying to sharpen smoke,
Yeah.
right? Try and explain to somebody that concept. And they go, oh, well, you enhanced it. Oh, I don't even know what it is.
Hmm.
Well, how would you do it?
Hmm.
How would you do it better,
Yeah.
right? They won't give you that answer because they don't know. They'll just criticize. So we're getting to the point where what is evidence and how can you prove it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the deep fakes you can see. You can, if you put your mind to it, you can tell. You see a lot of this nonsense. My favorite one is apparently there's a ghost in a hotel, and they send a guy to the door, and the whole thing's on camera, and apparently they're screaming and all kinds of things going on.
Hmm.
So he finally gets the door open, and this shadowy thing, mirage, sort of goes past him down the hall.
Hmm.
Beautiful, I loved it.
Yeah.
But knowing security work, knowing protection work, why was that camera
Trained on
in
that
the hall
position.
focused on that particular room? Do you know how
Exactly.
much money a hotel would have to spend to have a camera watching every room in their hotel?
Yeah,
But that
exactly.
one, yeah, we're going to watch that room.
Hmm.
Nonsense. Nonsense. All right. So you got to look at everything. You have to use critical thinking and logic and say, does that make sense? No.
And most people don't. I mean, that's critical thinking is seems to
Well, it
be
comes down to cherry picking. I really like it, so it's got to be true. Or,
yeah.
wow, that was cool. Well, so was the dinosaur effects in Jurassic Park. But
Yeah.
it's not real,
Yeah.
right? I liked it, but so yeah, it's just I want to believe. Well, I do. I
Well, yeah.
personally do. But I
Yeah.
want to believe doesn't make me an idiot running around going, "Oh, that's real. That's real. That's real." No, no. I got everything. You have to look at critically, logically, and say, does it make sense? How does that work? Right?
When would you well, look at would you think when you first started doing this, when you entered the realm and you had all these thoughts going through your head, what's it going to be like? What am I going to find? Am I going to find anything? And what am I looking at? And all that kind of stuff. And do you think a lot of that thinking was kind of squashed as time went? And you said, "Oh, well, look at okay, it's not exactly that that plays out, but it's more like this."
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it was squashed, but I didn't have that opportunity. I was thrown right into the fire at 4 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
I was raised in a haunted house, and that was perked my interest because, I was the youngest one. I got put to bed at uh, way before everybody else.
hmm,
All right, um, and I'm nestled in the bed. Everybody's downstairs watching TV. I'm upstairs by myself. I hear
yeah,
whispers and shadows in the hallway. There's a closet door 2 feet from my head, and I
hmm,
can hear the wire hanger inside the closet door scraping on the inside of the door because it's hanging on a nail, right? And it's just scraping, 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 and the door handle's moving. So I was thrown right into the fire, right
yeah,
at the get go. What is this?
hmm,
And as I grew, well, we moved from a haunted house to another haunted house, which was worse. So I had not only the interest, but I had to start trying to figure out what's going on. I didn't have the parents that were, although they secretly believed in the paranormal,
hmm,
wasn't open for discussion.
yeah,
So I would say, "Hey, Dad, this oh, you're crazy." So I had to figure it out, right? I had to figure
hmm,
it out for myself. My brothers were older. It's not a discussion I was going to have with them. So I had to figure it out. And as I grew, I seemed to get thrown into that situation time and time again. I got a particular job. Something really, really bizarre happens.
yeah,
The boss says, "You're the guy to go." Okay. Well, now I'm going to either look like an idiot because I have to write a report on this particular incident, or I got to figure it out
yeah,
and not look like an idiot.
yeah,
So it's just the ball kept rolling, and
hmm,
by the time I got to 18 years old, I said, I'm going to start doing this as professional as I can,
yeah,
and I started the company, the Searcher Group, and then I would talk to like-minded people, and that's a huge difference from then to now.
yeah,
Back in the day, it was remarkable. I could pick up the phone, and I've had phone calls with Dr. Persinger,
hmm,
Laurentian University,
yeah,
conversations with William Roll, Bill Roll, about poltergeists and stuff like that.
yeah,
Wonderful Wonderful guy. He's the one that actually sent me to Persinger. John Robert Colombo, no problem. Just talk to him. You get today, and the egos are so huge. I've reached out to contact some people. No reply, not interested, don't want to talk to you. Nothing. That's how big the egos have grown out there.
I completely agree. It's yeah, I agree with that completely. And even like there's been, I know egos have been around for a long time though too. I mean, one person you mentioned there, actually, yeah. The one person you mentioned, we had him on the show years ago, and
Persinger?
no, Colombo.
Colombo?
Yeah, we had him on the show, and
He hates
was,
my guts.
you know what? He doesn't like us very much either,
Yeah,
and that's
he
fine.
hates me.
We had him on the show, and this is back when we were on BCR years ago, and we were having issues with some audio. So I had to get in contact with the support to see what the fuck was going on because we couldn't do the interview. And I go to Alex. I go, Alex, keep Colombo busy. I'm just checking on and getting this sorted out. And I have him in the background as I'm talking to support and everything else. And the whole time, John is fucking laying into Alex. Saying, what kind of fucking outfit is this? You call this a radio show? This is amateur hour and blah, blah, blah. He kept going on. And Alex is like, look, it's audio. It's out of our control. We're trying to get it fixed. If you don't want to stay, that's fine. Be my guest. Hang up. Who cares?
Yeah.
He was a total dick. I just, I couldn't fucking believe it. I was really looking forward to having him on the show.
Yeah.
I really was, because I mean, people here in Ontario knew, look, when they looked into the paranormal, they would probably see one of his books, on something, Haunted Ontario, whatever.
Yeah.
And
when I talked to him, well, he was with Dundren as well, right? We were both with Dundren.
Yeah.
And when I talk, he doesn't even believe in this stuff.
Doesn't surprise me.
He doesn't even believe in it. He's just a writer. He collects stories and he writes about it. None of them are investigations.
Yeah.
They're just anecdotal stories that he's picked up from people or old magazines or news articles, and he writes about them. That's all it is. It's just rehashed folklore, basically. He doesn't even believe in this stuff, but he hates me. And I've never done anything to the guy.
He hates you. Why? Because why? You don't know?
Oh, I know exactly why he hates me.
Oh, okay.
But I've never done anything to the guy. And it simply comes down to he was doing ghost lectures at the Canadian National Exhibition.
Yeah.
And they gave him a little stage. And they probably had like 25 chairs.
Yeah.
And he's up there doing his lecture on ghosts. And there was 3 people there. Mm-hmm. 2 were sleeping, and the other guy was waiting for his wait. So anyways, I met the manager for the archives. Mm-hmm. And we talked, and I said, I'd love to do a book on this place. And she said, yeah, do it. So I started doing the investigations. It took me 13 months to get through all the buildings and the properties and everything. Mm-hmm. And I worked very closely with the archive there and the records and security. So she said, you want to do it? Will you do lectures for us? I said, sure. So they gave us the same little stage. Mm-hmm. And we went up there to do our lecture. And they had to call the fire department and the police department because we had over 4,000 people squeezing into a space that wasn't fire rated.
What were you offering? Come on, what were you offering?
And this is where Colombo hates me, is because not what I said. what the manager of the CNE said. She goes, well, when Columbo was up there, it was a snooze fest. And all of a sudden that was my fault, and he hated me ever since. But our gig was so big, they transferred us to, they gave us our own theater, a 101-seat theater.
Yeah.
And we were doing back-to-back lectures.
Mm-hmm.
We filled every seat. No one ever left. We had lineups. We were turning people away. It was packed.
Good for you, man.
And that was my fault. That's how big his ego was. It was my fault. That he couldn't get, he just couldn't keep the two people awake. But
I mean, the only thing I found him really good at were, I mean, before the actual investigation days and research and all that kind of shit. Before I just he was good for reference. Like, I mean,
I like the guy.
Yeah,
I
for
wrote him a letter.
reference.
I got a letter from him here.
Yeah,
I like the guy, but he just had such an ego, and
yeah, he came off like that to us, and I was totally pissed. I'm like, really? Come on.
but
I
mean, he's a pathetic. He wrote a lot of books. I mean, a lot of them are the same. Like
yeah,
rehash.
a lot of them are rehashes, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, sometimes you have to rehash to get new readers, right? But I mean, it's really a shame, and I find that a lot with a lot of people in this field.
Yeah.
A lot of people have an ego the size of, Montreal. I want to say Montreal, but more New York City.
Yeah.
But no, it's ridiculous. Why? Get rid of the ego.
I don't know. Like, you know what? This is the me generation, and and it extends to the previous generation as well.
Yeah.
And we can see it everywhere you go. I don't know what it is. I'm not a psychologist. I can't give you a title for it. I can't, tell you why it occurs. I don't know, but it's bizarre.
I mean,
I'm an Italian. Okay.
No, really?
Yeah, I have a big family.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot. There's a few, but there's not a lot in my family that support what I do.
Yeah.
Now, you posted the show up.
Mm-hmm.
Even my own team didn't go and click they liked it, or they were going to tune in, or even my own team or your team. How many people on your
What's up? I know, eh?
How many people on your team? Not one of them said, I support you and your show.
Actually, there's one in chat. There's one listening. Mars is there. There's one of them.
Yeah.
She's an avid listener of the show. She's the only one from the team.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
None from my team, one from your team to support my work or your show.
Yeah.
But if we were to call them tomorrow and say, hey, we're going to do a ghost investigation, all of a sudden, hey, we're best friends again. Come on, let's go. Right? Isn't it the weirdest thing?
I know.
I can't explain that phenomena. It's easier for me to explain life after death to you than that phenomena. I don't know what it is. Is it an ego thing? Is it a jealousy thing? Is it I know everything. I don't need this show. What are they going to say that I don't know already? I don't know what it is. I really don't know.
We don't
support each other.
I only had an issue. Like, I mean, one other time that just really perturbed me, and I'm not afraid to talk about it because I really just don't care because it's fucking it's stupid. But I remember being on a radio show.
Yeah.
And I was literally backed into a corner, and the guy tried to publicly shame me, saying that I'm not a cop, or I'm not an ex-cop, so you wouldn't make a good paranormal investigator. Who do you think?
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Okay. Hold on.
Canadian radio.
Oh, on Canadian radio.
Yeah. Canadian radio. Well, based out of Hamilton.
Oh, you got me, buddy. I don't know.
X-Zone Radio.
Next zone. Who's?
Rob McConnell.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Right.
And I remember he, the first half hour was great. He was asking me all these questions about me and the investigations, why I'm doing it, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we get, we go for break, we come back in the second half, and all of a sudden he just starts trying to rip right into me.
Yeah.
Like, so
Well,
what
I should
was
have
the
did a
point?
show. I should have done a show.
You should have.
You wouldn't have pulled that crap with me.
No, I just fucking, I'm like, wow, really? You invite me on your show to do this? What's the point?
Yeah.
You look stupid, not me.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't get it. But
I don't get it either. It's hilarious.
I don't know. Like we're here, we're supposed to support each other and work together and try and solve stuff, right? You might have a piece of the puzzle that I need, or I might have a piece, right?
Exactly.
We're walking around with giant egos and we're not helping each other out. We'll never know. You never know.
Exactly.
I mean, there are some cool people out there. I reached out to a couple of guys last week. Excellent people, no problem conversing, sharing ideas. That's what it's all about. I love it.
Exactly. And when you do find like-minded people like that who will sit down and chat, great.
Yeah,
I love it. Makes it a lot more worth the while.
And the only sad thing is they're in the States. I'm here. Yeah. These people, man, I'd love to buy them a beer and sit there and talk for. I could talk for hours, but that doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way.
Well, it's that time, Richard. Get your info out there and let people know a little bit about you, the books that you've written, and where to find them, and where to find you if they want to contact you.
Yeah, well, I'm easy to find. It's or just Google me, just Richard Palmisano Paranormal. You'll find all my books, where to go and find those. Or if you want to email me, you can get me at richard@thesearchergroup.ca. Or look for me on Facebook. I'm always logged in, but I'm not actually.
You're always logged in, but you're not. That's hilarious. All right, guys, that's it for this evening. Richard, thanks again. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk a little bit after we end things here. So hold tight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on New Visions Radio Network and here on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Always nice to have the support and the interaction in the chat. Take care, everyone. See you next Sunday night. Next Sunday night, and then there's a little bit more of a hiatus. I'm off to Vegas, buddy.
Vegas.
I'm off to Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyways, take care, guys. Have a good one.
Listening.
Oh yeah, all good. Take care.